All right, great. Thanks. Welcome, everybody. I'm going to kick it right over to Mari, our new chairperson.
Oh,
I just wanted to maybe before we do that to do a move to approve last meeting's minutes.
I'll approve.
I'll
And
second.
someone want a second, particularly. So that was
Of
Mari
course,
and
we
Mari and
can.
Mari. No, Mari and April. Good. All right. Can I kick it over to you, Mari? Mari number one.
Okay, sure. Thanks. Courtney, I think you were
All
muted, but I did hear you say second, just so you know. I can
I
hear
just
you.
realized that too. Yeah.
All good, guys.
I'll get it next time.
Yep.
All right. All in favor. There we go.
So Kevin, you're taking notes, correct?
Yes, taking
Okay,
notes. I might have to skip out early, so there might be some around 3:30 or so, but
okay.
if there's any additional notes.
Yeah, we can collaborate. Yeah, I just can't walk and chew gum, so I figured if I was going through the
Yeah, no,
agenda,
I hear
it's
you.
easier. So writes everything down. So thanks. Um,
Yeah.
Okay, well, I guess we'll just jump right into the agenda. So first, we have, I think, April and Dean's initiative on the Pollinator Pathway Grant. So if one of you wants to speak to that, that would be great.
I'm just moving because they're installing my kitchen right now.
Oh my God.
Um, okay, so I've been in contact with Wakeman's. I finally got a list of flowers from their distributors. I'm combing through the list right now. So in the next couple hours, I should have a couple different sets of plants for people to be able to get that are native. I double checking everything, not just native to the Northeast, but native to Connecticut, to make sure that we're going to give them what's going to work best for the grant and best for our community. And then I'm going to need some help because we're getting close to the school year and I need to go back to work shortly. So I guess I wanted to ask the group a question. We could try to do everything digitally, which there's benefits to having everything digitally. If we could get the iPads or Google Forms to work in all the locations where we try to get people to sign up. But we also know that that might not work. And so it might be best to kind of do a paper sign up, but then that leaves people combing through stuff. So I guess I kind of wanted to ask the group what you thought would be best in ways of making sure that people are signing up correctly and us knowing what they're getting. So the pickup is easier at the back end and we're not, you know, fishing through things.
Well, I just know when I did a volunteer fair and we had a lot of people come, I wish that I had an iPad or something so people could sign in because at the end of the day, we had so many volunteers and I couldn't read the writing
Okay.
and it was just hard to to input and it's just so much easier in my opinion. That's from a personal perspective, but
Okay. That's awesome. Anybody else want to weigh in?
Well, who's kind of overseeing this? Is where would the iPads be coming from? That kind of thing. And when would we be doing
Well,
signups? I mean, I'm happy to do it at Recycling Drive once a month if that helps.
yeah. Well, right now it would be like my personal iPad for the
Oh,
moment, but I could share the link with whomever um,
I say.
as well. But we need to be able to um, have people sign up, purchase the pollinator pathway sign for like $10, or if they want a bigger one, they could buy that one. Sign up for that, and then go on and then get access to the pick the free plants that they want for themselves. So the iPad or potentially anyone's Chromebook, whatever, needs to be able to function, let's say outside Trumbull High or outside the library or outside Stop and Shop. And that I don't know if it's always going to work. So
What if it's like
that's
a
kind of
just
where
a
my concern
QR
is.
code? Oh, sorry. What if it's a code to the link that like we have, on one of the plastic displays, they click, they come up with their phone, open it. I mean, we know that's limiting to some audiences, of course, but for the general, could
My
they do
oh,
that?
my only concern with that is if people share the QR code and they didn't sign up for the pollinator pathway and get that information and be sold on that, then You know, I don't know who might then sign up. You know, we want to make sure it's for Trumbull residents only. We want to make sure they're signing up and they understand what it means to be part of the pollinator pathway and giving up pesticides and those things. So there's that piece of it that I'm not sure if they just did a QR code, they would get that.
Mari, is there like a plan of action, like when this is going to run from, and who's going to be targeted, and how we're going to reach out to them? I'm not. Is there anything in writing that explains the process? You know, what the project is, the who, the where, the why, the when, etc. Is there something?
That's a
That-
question
So-
for April.
Yeah. So to answer that question, Janet, as soon as I have the list, I just got to double check with Dave and at the same time work with hopefully Courtney to get some time at the library, whether I just sit outside at a table, hook up at the drive, the monthly sustainable drive, see if we get a day at Stop and Shop or two. And hopefully with a couple of days out in the community, we'll be able to get and kind of, I don't want to say like sell out, but be able to give away everything that the grant was intended to for our townspeople. Speaking of how people are going to know about it, we're going to use our social media, and then I believe it's the Trumbull Democrats reached out to me about something else, but then they know about the grant that's coming out and like the work that we're doing with like through the town for Sustainable Trumbull. So they're going to push it out as well in their newsletter once I have some more information, because that's going out shortly from them.
If they're doing that, is it equitable to reach out to the other side? I mean, is somebody?
Oh
gonna
yeah,
say-
I'd be more than happy to yeah, I know people on both sides. It's not
Yeah.
100%, Janet. It's a great point. I could reach out to people on both sides if they're putting out an email or some sort of newsletter as well.
And I don't suppose, is there any point, or is it possible to put something on the town website, or
Mhm.
I mean, not actually, not that reaches a certain sector of the population, but that's okay. Whatever.
Even the
Yeah.
town announcement, maybe we could do an announcement, something like that, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
We could reach
April,
out
I
to the
don't know-
newspaper as well. You know,
So
that's easy too.
what is our target rollout to begin? Date?
Honestly, if you asked me, the target rollout would have been a few weeks ago, but I got bogged down this summer. So my target rollout's going to be, hopefully within the next 5 days or so, once I can get the list finalized through Dave, knowing that what we have and what we could get, and then start rolling it out. So I'm going to need help. If I don't get help, I can't pull this off.
Right. That's obvious. So, Janet and I both, we're ready to jump in, but we don't have a clear concept of what the steps are here.
So the steps is that once I need to finalize the list, get it approved by Dave. That's one, right? Hopefully I have that done by tomorrow, because Dave will be back from vacation. We were both on vacation at the same time. And that's a go. Once we have the list, then making the Google form, could do that tomorrow as well. I'm going to start on it today. Is then reach out to the library for some times and dates that maybe we could get a spot outside the library. Reach out to Stop and Shop if there are some times and dates we could get out there. I know we have the town hall concerts that are going on in town that draws a lot of people that might not come out for other things. If we could get and be there as well, and the town's okay with that, I think that would be a nice thing. I don't know if it happened already, but at the farmer's market, the nature center has a table a couple times over the summer. I don't know if that table has gone and went or not. Maybe we could hook up and sit there when they're at the farmer's market one afternoon to try to get different groups of people as they're coming out for different things, to sign up and do this. But I don't know if we want the sign up to be completely online or if we want to do paper. Because if it's online, then people need to be able to bring a device to do that. And I don't know if that's always going to work, which is my concern.
Right.
Right. So if we have particular places where we're going to be staffing a table or whatever, then that information can be conveyed to the garden clubs or the other interested groups. So can we have a you know, like a little spreadsheet, like we're gonna target this area. We'll be at the library. That's on such a date. And I don't mean, I'm not saying April, you need to do all this. But yeah. So if we, I think maybe we also need to have a meeting offline maybe too, so we don't take up the whole hour here.
That's okay.
Sure, we could do that, Dean.
Okay.
Yeah, because my time is quite restricted. And do we have a handout or something, or a leaflet or a flyer that we're giving people?
Yeah,
Would
I
that
have a
be-
bunch of that from Pollinator Pathway. I do.
Mhm.
And then we'll have information once we know which flowers are going out. My plan is to print out when people pick up the flowers that they're picking up so they know the best way to plant and all those other things.
Yeah. Okay, maybe, like Dean says, we maybe need to meet, because it sounds like we're short of manpower here.
We might be. I'm hoping we could pull it through.
I'll be glad to jump in to contact people. I know we could maybe contact the Park and Rec, even if it's just like a little informal table at one of the farmers markets before summer ends. And I'll just make sure that you all know Courtney's obviously with the library. So I don't know, Courtney, if you've already discussed with April the possibility of being there, but she's your go-to. So that's a quick step, right?
Yep, I can work on that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you.
and if we're sitting at a table, it's helpful to have a poster or something to say
Mhm.
while we're sitting there, or at least a little stand with
Or maybe
So-
we can rope in one of the garden clubs, because I know Courtney, we've been in touch with, or you've been in touch, I
Yeah.
think, for another project, which we'll talk about. Maybe we can add that to an email to them to see, I mean, could it be as simply as maybe some of their members want to partake and be the recipients? I feel like why, make it more challenging than it needs to be to find people that are interested in receiving the plants, correct? I mean.
I personally think we're going to have an overwhelming amount of people who are going to be interested in this.
Right.
And everyone who I've talked to is really excited about it. So I think they're just waiting for it to be rolled out. So,
So
but
like
that's
here you
just
have,
the people. Go ahead.
so like once you have the stuff to sign up, maybe an email can go to the garden club and that will
Mhm.
reach people instead of, it sounds like everybody's time is limited to table somewhere, or, maybe we don't even need to get as far as Stop and Shop. I feel like that's like,
I just don't want to miss a step where they're supposed to sign up for the Pollinator Pathway and
I
get
see.
that sign prior
Okay,
to
sorry.
registering. So that's the piece that we can't skip here. We could
Okay,
tell
that's-
them where we're going to be in those emails. I think that would be helpful, but to skip that
Sure.
step would be missing a big piece of this. And I
Sure.
saw Janet's head shake, so I'm right on that one.
Yeah, sorry. I'm trying to be
I
helpful.
got to stick true to the grant. I can't
Yeah.
break the grant. But
Kind of-
yeah, I think we can solve it and figure it out.
Gotcha.
So can we set a time by early next week to get some action items assigned and have
Yes.
some of the pieces in place?
Yeah, I
So-
was gonna say, I just let me know too, like what the your timeline is. I'm happy, and what you need from me, because I'm happy to contact the garden club and
Beautiful.
find a place at the library. The other thing is just let me know what time you and what date, kind of around that, and what I should the overall plan, I guess. And if you have like something on paper, like a visual, that way I can send as well. So
Sounds
Yeah.
great.
Oh.
And one more question, is this a first come, first served? Is that, or, yeah,
Yeah, we sell out. We're out. I mean, but we have $7,000, so that's a lot. It's a lot of people.
it's a lot of money.
It is, but it's going to do great
Okay.
things.
All right, so I want to get this on the calendar when we're gonna talk to hammer out whatever other.
All right,
details.
Dean, do you want to talk later today, tomorrow? When do you want to talk?
Tomorrow I'm free.
Great.
Yeah. Monday afternoon.
No, let's do it tomorrow.
Okay, give me a time.
9 o'clock.
Okay.
All right,
And
perfect.
I can call you.
Yes,
All right.
I'm available. Call me.
Okay. and I think I've got your number on my phone, and then Janet, anyway, I don't mean to cut you out, but I don't have a real Zoom account. It's a pain to, anyway,
I
we'll
don't,
talk at 9 and then,
I'm not free at 9, so
okay.
you
All right,
guys. do
well,
what you gotta do,
we'll,
and I'll-
we'll talk at 9 and then,
Okay,
great. I'll get back to you, Janet.
Quick
Great.
question for the minutes. What's the name of this initiative? Native plant something, what do we call it?
It's a native, I mean, we got a grant money and we're using it to expand the native plants throughout the pollinator pathway throughout Trumbull. I don't
Okay.
have a catchy name for it, so if someone has one, I'd be more than happy to run with it.
Okay.
I'll have
April,
one
is
by
your,
tomorrow.
We'll have one. We're working on
April,
it.
is your phone number starts 717?
914.
That's another April. Okay.
Wow.
I don't know who she is, but okay.
Dean, I
Janet,
have your number. I could call you.
all right, you call me at 9. That's fine.
Okay. I'm putting you in my calendar.
Okay.
All right, I'm done. Sorry, Mari.
No, I don't apologize. This is one of the big items for the meeting today, so good job, guys. Really exciting.
Okay, well, I'll see you next time because I gotta sign off.
All right,
All right.
thanks, Janet.
So glad to have your help. Bye.
All right. I feel like our group is really dwindling here. Okay, so let's move on to waste reduction, I guess. So I figured I was going to start, since we're only meeting quarterly, to try to give an update to the group on some of the recycling stuff we're doing and kind of quantify where we are with some of the numbers, in case anybody from town or people that might listen to the recorded meeting afterwards might be interested. So I kind of spent a quick little bit of time going through just some of the money we've spent so far relating to the recycling drive and some of the quantities we've collected. So just in terms of spending, I did email with Mary a couple times this morning. It looks like we're still hovering around the $3,000 budget, and we have spent $500 year to date on the TerraCycle boxes. And they're lasting us quite a while. Some of the boxes we bought for pens and the chip bags that we just get so many of, even though we don't advertise collecting, those we bought in March, and we still are shoving stuff in there easily. And we just bought on sale for a couple $100s, so I didn't write that number down, the box for the beauty and cosmetics and makeup, because that's such a huge item. We've gained traction on collecting, but we don't have the budget. I mean, we don't have the free programs available anymore. So we'll see how long that box lasts. Those items are a little bit bigger, but we're going to try to pull out some of the things that we can send elsewhere, like the deodorants we can send to a different collection company that is free. So we're just tweaking it a little bit. We have collected 600 pounds of TerraCycle items alone since starting the recycling drive about 3 years ago. So it's not huge, but that doesn't count all of the plastic film we've collected and some of the other items that don't go to TerraCycle. So speaking of items that don't go to TerraCycle, the mattresses, we collected 46 mattresses in May, which was up from 35 or 36 mattresses back in, I think it was November, we did the first mattress recycling. So Mary was saying that it sounds like we might be looking at doing another mattress collection at Hazardous Waste Day. I think that's up for review with George. If not, perhaps we can set up another one in the fall at the recycling drive again, because we do get a good amount, and it keeps it out of the waste at the transfer station and reduces the tonnage there. So that's pretty exciting. Since inception, which is the beginning of 2021, we've collected 59,000 pounds of textiles. That's between Bay State and I can email you the numbers, Kevin, so you don't have to.
Thank you.
Like a lot of numbers. I was trying to get annuals, but it does look like we're steadily increasing in the collection of textiles. So that's great because it's obviously a revenue generator for the town. Another item, speaking of revenue generation, is the printer ink. So since we've added the library as a satellite recycling drop-off location, we've like substantially increased our printer ink. The dollar value isn't huge, and the amount of weight we're keeping out of the municipal solid waste isn't huge either. But just as a point of reference, in 2022, we collected $53 worth of printer cartridges, 2023, $47. And year to date, we're only halfway through this year. We've already collected $137. So we're on track to earn about $300. But we've only had the library going the last, couple months. So I think that's something we can try to expand upon, the printer ink, since we do make money from it. So that's kind of one of my thoughts on that. I think that's all I have about Recycling Drive. April, is there anything? I don't know if you're available, but if there's anything you can think of that I missed from the drive.
No, the Trex challenge is still going on at Middlebrook. We are probably 200 pounds shy right now, and we have until September 15th to get that in.
Okay.
They changed their programming, and this is the harder part for the Middlebrook families, or it's not just what they're dropping at Stop and Shop, is that in order for us to count it, we have to have a photo of it. So without people taking a photo and sending it to us or posting it like on a picture or whatever, we can't count what Stop and Shop has. So that's how I think we're not getting in as much as we normally would have. Because I can normally just ask Stop and Shop for a number, but I can't ask them for a number without having a photo behind each picture. So that's a difficulty right now, but we're still getting there. So there's a shot.
Right.
We'll see.
And the good news is it's changing people's habits. Whether you win the competition for how much plastic you collect, families in town are putting their plastic film aside and recycling it. And that's really the ultimate goal. So way to go. Anyone else have anything on any of the waste reduction? Any questions on Recycling Drive? We're going to be there this Saturday, the 10th, 9 to 12. No extra special things going on this month. Just since we are only meeting quarterly, I'll just throw it out there, just popped in my head. We might want to reach out and do the pumpkin collection for maybe the November drive. I don't know when we're meeting again, if it's before that, but that seemed to work out great last year. It was kind of a share and swap. If people wanted the pumpkins, they came and took them, and whatever was left was left. Okay, it looks like it's the 9th. I don't know if that's too late to ask people to hold their pumpkins until November 9th. What does everyone think? Good. We'll try it. I think RWS is, such a great partner in town. And so if they're willing to do it, I think it gives them exposure on their programs too. So we always keep their curbside compost materials at our drive, so people can learn about that program as well. So, all right.
Mari, did a lot of people come and take the pumpkins for
Yes.
different farms and to feed
Yeah, someone in particular came with their trunk open to take quite a few. And we were kind of like, well, we didn't know if RWS was going to be disappointed if there wasn't a minimum, but we were like, if it's, staying out of the trash, some animals were going to utilize them, there was still plenty, I think, for pickup. So
very cool.
Yeah, there was quite a bit of participation, which was cool. So, okay. One more quick thought. Sorry, I'm jumping around, guys. I dropped off some items I had. They were actually empty tennis ball cans. Courtney, this one might appeal to you. Dean had cases of tennis balls, and those empty tubes that hold the 3 balls, they're not recyclable curbside. So I reached out to the Sacred Heart Discovery Museum. They have a maker space where they take kind of unusual products to use for their, crafts and things like that. So there might be items like that, as well as, I know they mentioned they might need like toilet paper tubes and things like that, which are recyclable curbside. So I don't know that we want to take on collecting too many items that people can recycle curbside, but we might want to reach out to them and put together a list to help them out, and then also add to items at the recycling drive. So
that's really cool. We have a lot of those too. I'm so glad that they take them or.
Yeah, so they were cool because they're clear and you can do like maybe little sand parfaits, things like that with them.
Oh, really cool.
We, peeled off the label. So yeah, I had like 3 cases of them. So, yeah, so if anybody wants to work on that with me, I'd love, the help on that, but. Okay, cleanup, Save the Sound cleanup. So Dimitri did approve us to do our, 3rd annual participation with the Save the Sound. It used to be part of International Coastal Cleanup. I think Save the Sound has renamed it their Connecticut Cleanup. But we are going to be at Twin Brooks Park on September 22nd, 9 to 11 in the morning. Hopefully, at least.
What was that
somebody
date?
else
Sorry, what
will
was the
be-
date? What was the date again?
September 22nd. It's a Sunday. Just double check.
Oh, there you go. Yep. Okay, got it.
Yep, 9 to 11. So we are listed as one of the many cleanup sites in Connecticut that Save the Sound has. And Ellen is going to be working on creating a Facebook event on our Sustainable Trumbull social media. Courtney, if we want to reach out to the newspaper, maybe do a press release, that would be great. If you have time and interest for that, I can send you any of the details. Of
Perfect.
course, once we have the links, we'll share it on the social media. Yeah. So, I think I heard from, on our sustainable Gmail, I think it was last week, I connected with, shoot, gosh, what was the school? What's the one down on Main Street, just before Edison Road? The private school,
St.
St. Teresa's?
Teresa's?
Yes, I think it was there. She was looking for ways for the students to get community service hours. So I mentioned the cleanup. So I think hopefully they'll be sending a group in addition to whoever else we can come up with. So. Okay, any questions on that or? All right, next, the library events. Okay, so Courtney, I don't know if you saw, we just got an email from Kelly at the library looking to secure dates. So if you want to talk about where we are with the possible October event, I'll hand it over to you. I don't want to put you on the spot, but were you good with that?
Yes. So October is fine. I think it was the end of the October, which the library is doing, is closed for voting purposes. So, but the beginning of the library is the beginning of October is fine. So that date, okay. And November the 4th, we were talking about doing. So October the 7th, we're talking about some ideas to do. Mark, do you want me to just kind of throw it out there? I don't have my other paper here, but we were talking about doing the was it the jar? That was the jar one. Wait, no, I'm sorry.
Library. Yep.
I'm sorry. And I'm like, that's what I meant. We're doing the seed library at the library. We're just waiting on one more slight approval, but most likely that will happen. So we're going to get together with the Nature Center and also the Garden Club. I reached out to the Garden Club and they are on board. And so we're going to do an event there and then have an ongoing seed library at the library for that event.
April's excited.
Yeah. And so we're also looking at some different kind of pictures and not trying to get ahead, but what it would sort of look like. And it seems like it would be like, a fun and educational way for people to get seeds and be informed on that. And also it would be, I think it would just be a great event at the library for people to come and find out about, gardening, fall gardening and different seeds. And then in November, we were thinking about doing a like, what was it, pickling or jarring sort of. Is that what I know we were kind of.
We were still throwing out some ideas. Just to backtrack, not to interrupt you, but I should have said in the beginning, we have 3 for the sustainable group to do events. So the first one is the October 7th, Courtney mentioned, and then there's also November 4th and December 2nd.
The second,
So I don't want to get ahead of ourselves too much, Courtney. And April, you're nodding about the canning. Do you have any expertise or interest, or did you make a contact, Courtney, that I didn't know about? I don't know enough about it to present, just to be clear.
No.
I don't know anything about it. It just sounds really cool. It's something I would go to if I was available, but
Okay.
it's not something I can educate anybody on. I'm sorry.
No,
Yeah,
that's,
no problem. I guess we'll just focus on this October event and then kind of
we
play
can
by ear.
put out,
But
if you
something-
want, I mean, what does the group think? But maybe we could put out a post on social media saying, you know, we're looking for experts to present on you know, any of the following topics, and we can throw out some ideas. I mean, I would love to see a like really, you know, somebody that's really knowledgeable, not me, but talk about some sustainable swaps for the holidays. I just feel like, I mean, I have like a handful, like, you know, wrapping gifts in, you know, reusable store bags, or, you know, what else have I done? Just sustainable swaps in general, like, you know, April, you have your wooden Christmas tree, or, you know, your solid toothpaste tablets. I mean, we could piecemeal something, but I know your schedule's so busy, and you know, I don't want to overcommit. I don't know how soon we have to, you know, commit these dates, but is there somebody anyone can think of? I feel like the farms never were available in the spring because that's such a busy time for them, but I wonder if that's kind of like an off season that they could come talk about some, you know, sustainable things too for meal prep, or I had a contact that she was like farming and cooking kind of stuff, but
Yeah, that's. I know we had discussed.
Yeah, I mean, the other topic that comes to mind, and I think there's an expert, well, I mean, I'm sure there's more than one expert in town, but, and I don't know them personally, so I apologize, about like using herbs and stuff for other things, for medicinal uses, like going back, like back in the day, like what they did in the 1800s before we had medicine, like a lot of our daily herbs or whatever, or plants that we grow or things that we consider weeds, are really things that we could use for other things. And it's, we just don't know. And we were taught that it's a weed and you can't use it for anything else. But I think there's a lot of other great ways to use things if we just knew what they were. If that makes sense. But I'm not an expert on that either. So, but I would go.
yeah. That's what I mean. Is it weird to put out a post like we're looking for experts to present? I mean, we want to, I don't know. I guess we could try it.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
So.
So Courtney, I would guess at this point, should we tell Kelly we want to do the October date to start, and then if we're able to secure something, we'll check back if it's still available. I don't want to make her hold the dates too long if we don't.
Yeah, I think that's fine. I think that's fair. Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's good.
Okay. Any other fall events we have going on that anybody else wanted to see? I think that's kind of good.
Well, I can add one into the mix, but for later, more probably in December. But with the Conservation Commission, and I've talked to Dimitri and Cynthia, who's on this call, about the vine teams to go where Dimitri tells us to go to cut vines off trees to protect our trees and our forests. So, so we're not supposed to start it till the winter because then it's easier to see and there are fewer ticks and all that sort of thing. So we'll be putting this together at the next Conservation Commission meeting, but we'll be looking for volunteer groups to go in teams, and we haven't set a date yet, but it'll probably be in December to go and top vines.
So you wouldn't want to do an additional event like to show people how to do it at the library per se. This would just be a separate event you're going to be planning.
Yeah, I think we would yeah, I think it would be people who come, then we'll show them what we're doing.
Yeah.
So here's the vines we're trying to do, and yeah.
That's cool. Okay. Anything else for events?
One quick question.
Yeah.
Dean, about the vines, when was the best time to chop them? Was that more with something like around the December date, or?
Yes, because, and this is you know, some of the real arborist, forestry type people in the group are like, yeah, why don't you wait till the leaves are off the trees and it's easier to see what you're doing, and you're not like taking Boy Scouts into like tick infested ground cover or something. So, and the poison ivy, you've got the vines, but you don't have leaves. So December is target.
Oh, I think Kevin has to jump off. Are you leaving, Kevin? Maybe. Okay. Okay, so should we move on to the school initiatives? Kevin, do you have to leave or you just got bumped off?
Yeah. If you can hear me, hold on. I gotta do my headset here.
Okay,
Can you hear me?
choppy, but
Hello?
that's okay. Okay, so let's move on to the school initiatives
Oh,
quickly.
there you go. Hold on a sec.
Oh.
Hold on. I gotta get my headset connected.
Okay.
Connect, please. Headset. Can you hear me yet? I'm
Yeah.
having trouble. I can hear you, except that, hold on. Oh, here I got it figured out. There we go. All right, so I'm gonna travel, but
Okay.
go right ahead.
Okay.
Yeah,
So on the school initiatives, I was able to meet with Chris Molyneux. I don't want to mispronounce his name terribly, but the new head of the food services manager. So he completed his first school year in his role and was able to identify some cool ways to be a little bit less wasteful in the schools and implement more compostable serviceware. He's reviewed the menus and improved the school lunch menus. It's really, really great feedback from him and his enthusiasm. We did kind of just throw out a few ideas of what the sustainable team would love to see in the schools, like every school sorting their food scraps and composting their trays and their, food waste. That requires a budget. So, that's something that is of interest to everybody, but will probably be done in phases. So the high school is still in the middle of their grant, obviously, for 2 more semesters with Blue Earth Compost, and seems to be working out good. We talked about, and one of the projects that we would like to try to move forward is having the elementary schools set up a share program or food donation program. I'm not sure how we want to title it, but where each of the elementary schools to start would be able to collect non-perishable foods. If we're able to secure mini refrigerators at the schools, they could each have one in the cafeterias, and students could donate food that they weren't consuming from their tray, but maybe an item that a component they were required to select based on the school lunch program. So maybe they have to take 3 components, one of them being a fruit or vegetable, but they don't want that. So they can put it in the box. Maybe another student wants that particular fruit. If not, it stays in the box and gets picked up by the Food Rescue Program. Food Rescue is an organization that is doing this in many schools, and I've worked closely with them. So they would have volunteers in their database who would sign up on their app to come and pick up the boxes from the school and drive them to a designated social service agency. Ideally, we would look to stock the Trumbull Food Pantry with this program. I do have a donor in place that could provide funding for the mini fridges for 6 of the schools if it does get approved. Not a huge expense. So again, it's just getting the balls in motion. Thank you, April, for the direction. I feel like there's so many contacts and not sure, where to start or with who. So just going for it. Courtney, I would love to still rely on you for being that point person at Jane Ryan. If it does seem like we need an inside person to kind of get it going, at least at one school, to see how it goes. But they are doing this, just so everybody knows, they are doing this at all 11 elementary schools in Fairfield. I was just able to talk with the VP of Sustainability for their PTSA council. So she explained to me how they're doing all of this. In addition to, they have curbside compost, that company picking up food scraps from all the cafeterias for 2 years. They were able to secure funding that was matched 1.5 times by Sustainable Connecticut for that program. So they got like a total of around $60,000. They have parent volunteers manning the trash sorting areas in each of the cafeterias to sort their food scraps. So again, that's, hashtag goals of what we can look at the schools. But I think to start, we just want to pull out the food that is still consumable and get that into somebody else's hands instead of the garbage. Because it's essentially a free program. Especially if we were only able to target non-perishables, it would be a box that could sit there for a day or two until food rescue came. So hopefully by the next time we meet, we'll have an update. Just a little bit more color there from meeting with the food service manager. Food behind the cafeteria. So if it's still in the kitchen and it's, let's say, an untouched tray of lasagna, in theory, it could be donated to an agency for consumption. But because it's paid for by the school, the National School Lunch Program, the school is not allowed to donate. So as long as we are separately acting as volunteers, parents in the school, and we're taking food that's already been served to the kids, essentially the kids are donating it, not the school itself. That's my understanding. If I'm botching it a little bit, I apologize. But so we're only looking to donate food front of the house, essentially, not food that's behind the counter. So that's the reason we're taking this route to start. So to be continued. That's all. Any questions on that? Okay. All right. One more thing that wasn't on the agenda, but I'll put it under other business. We got an email this morning from a company called, actually from my contact at UI. Cindy, this is probably a question I'm going to need your help on. So we have a contact at UI, John, I'm not going to try to pronounce his last name. And he presented for us at the library back in January on the home energy savings program, which is offered to all residents, and it's free if you qualify. If you don't qualify based on your income bracket, it is a $75 program where they come and, assess your home for opportunities for energy savings, and they actually target some of those items on the spot, like sealing, around vents, things like that. So he connected me with this company, Good Life Energy Savers. They're out of Danbury, and they would like to expand their reach. UI would like to expand their reach, for their home energy savings program in Trumbull. We don't have a lot of participation apparently compared to other towns. And they would like us to partner with this company in particular, who is willing to waive that $75 fee to all participants. So I told the woman I would take her call tomorrow to get more information, but I did explain that it was my understanding that the town does not promote one particular company. But if it's being suggested by UI, I'm not sure how that comes into play, but I would love to be able to get the program available to more participants in town. So I can get the information and send it to you, Cindy, if you want, and then you can direct it to who you think, or if there's someone you'd like to direct me to.
That would be great if you could get the information to me, and I'll see what I can do with it.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Fairfield actually got a grant to publicize this program, and I don't know how they got that grant exactly, but anyway, I work with the church, the Congregational Church in Fairfield, and so they had on sustainability stuff. So they had contacted me about this, and I was like, "Well, you've got money to do this." So anyway, so we did advertise it through the church, just because they were contacting different groups to get the word out. This is free if you want it.
Right. Yeah, it was my understanding that their grant, again, I don't really know, it might have been from Sustainable CT that they got match funding. But when I asked actually I'm trying to think if it was at the program we held at the library or if it was somewhere else, but when I asked about that grant, I was told it was specifically for I guess the people that qualify for free for the program. Whereas we were kind of promoting it generally to anybody that wanted to participate,
Yeah.
whether it was fee-based or not. So I don't really know the difference exactly, other than that $75 fee, but I
Right,
think
and they had an incentive program so that if you did it, you could put your church's name and the church would get a $25 kickback. I don't know that anyone took advantage of that, but that was also part of what their money was being used for.
I have heard about that, but I would assume we couldn't get a kickback as a town. I mean, yeah, because the town of Trumbull gets $25 if somebody, that seems strange to me, but again, if that is part of what I get, I can let you know, Cindy.
Yeah, I know there's a program that Rena had mentioned to me, that was something that would bring money back to the town. And I don't know if this is it. I can ask her. I don't know if she's available this afternoon. But that was one person I was definitely going to speak with about this.
Like I said, I'll send it along. If this is a good fit, great. If there's something else that, you want our group, just because we're identified as the sustainable people to share out, we're happy to do that too. So that's all I have on the agenda. I don't have when our next meeting is, but maybe we should just discuss if that works, or as it gets closer, we can fine tune if we need to, but. Does anyone know when the next meeting is? Sorry.
I don't know. We did decide, but I don't remember what it was.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess we can follow up after, but yeah, otherwise that's all I have. So hopefully I'll see some of you on the 10th. Who's away? April, I know I'm counting on you for the 10th, right? This Saturday, are you around for recycling drive? Okay, perfect. I think a lot of the regulars are away. I think it's
I'm
just
gonna be
you, me,
away,
and
too.
Renata and Brianna. Yeah, Cindy, go ahead.
On the website, you have November 4th as your next meeting date.
Oh, Courtney, that's interesting. That's one of the library dates.
Yeah, I was like, that date sounds so familiar. Okay.
And is that,
You can change it. That's if it's posted on your meeting calendar, it's called a regular meeting. You can change it to a different date and then it's called a special meeting. And the only difference is that you're not supposed to add any agenda items to a special meeting under Freedom of Information, but otherwise it's really not a lot different. You could just post a change of meeting date and then it's called a special meeting, but there's nothing magical.
maybe we'll keep it because Courtney, it's kind of
Yeah.
a real shot in the dark here on the event, right?
Yeah, and it also the event is at like 6:30 if we met a lot earlier.
that's
Via
true.
Zoom, right? So
Yeah,
we might
that's true.
and it might be good just to follow up again before the event that night. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
Whatever. I mean,
And Mari, I wanted to say one more thing if I could, which is I think I'm working on a First Selectmen's newsletter each month, and I've only been doing it for a few months, but I did put in some sustainable information in one of those months. But I'm looking for anything that if you're interested in giving me, you could give me a sustainable tip each month, or if you have an event coming up, I can put it in the newsletter to publicize it if you want it to be. You could, especially if you have photos of an event that you held and you want to just say the sustainability team held this event and, give me a little write-up, a little blurb. If you have press release, if you send them to me, assuming it's timely and it works out that, the event will happen after the newsletter comes out, more than happy to put things in.
Oh, great. Thank you. So when is the next one coming up?
So I've been doing the end of the month. I'm trying to get earlier in the month, but it's been a challenge. So assume end of month.
Okay. So you're sending it on the 31st, so like try to get to you by the beginning of the last week or something?
Yeah, that would be good.
Okay. All right, I'll put down August 26th just for the next one, and then
Great.
we'll go
And
from
even, if something comes up and you say, "Ooh, that'd be great for the newsletter," send it along. And if it doesn't work out, I won't use it, but otherwise I'll be happy to put it in.
there. Okay, perfect. So yeah, April, if you want to send anything on the pollinator pathway plant grant program, that's a tongue twister. We could do that.
Yeah, I'll try to put something together for that, but I definitely think we should put the cleanup on there because that'll be in
Absolutely.
September. So the
Yep.
cleanup will make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
that'll be fantastic.
Great. I'll put a couple pictures from last year. We had some good stuff. I don't know why the Clean Swell app, I don't see large numbers from our April Tidy Up Trumbull when we were at Park Lane. So I didn't want to report numbers from that today because they were really low. I know we did a couple 100 pounds or 300 pounds, I think, that one day alone. So let's aim high for September. So we'll see. All right. Well, thanks, everybody. I think we're all set unless anyone has anything else.
Nope, Mari, but if you could send me some notes on the school initiatives and that UI thing, anything from that point on that I would miss because I was driving.
Perfect. And then I'll try to send some of the data numbers that I rattled off when I told you I
I
would.
got some of those, but not all of them.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Have a good rest of the summer. Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.